I have legitimately stopped and started this recording 4 or 5 times because I start talking about one thing and then I lose my train of thought and I start talking about another thing and I lose my train of thought and I start talking about another thing because this Real Madrid team is embarrassing. This Real Madrid team is bad. And there's not a player on this field, for Real Madrid, not Mbappe, not Vinny, that's going to tell you this is a good football team. This team is bad. This team sucks. This team is not good. And there's going to be stories that come out this week about how Xabi Alonso and Vinicius Jr. hate each other. There's going to be stories that come out about how Mbappe and Vinicius Jr. can't play together. There's going to be stories that come out about how the grass was a little bit too wet, and that's why the ball was moving too fast, and only Celta Vigo could play in the grass. Every excuse in the book is going to come up, but the excuse that needs to be talked about, the excuse that needs to come up every single time is how Real Madrid sucks at playing football right now. How this is one of the most bipolar football teams in all of Europe. How this team decides when to play football and when not to play football. This team picks if they want to play. This team picks when they want to play. When your coach comes out and says the team decided to start running after a red card, that's when you know there's a problem. As a neutral watching a football match, I'm watching this game and I can realize the players do not want to run. And they only decide to start running and pressing after the red card. What does that say to you as a football fan? What that tells me is a team stepped on the field thinking they were just going to win the game. And only when they got the red card, they looked at each other and said, uh-oh, we probably got to run now. We might be in trouble. It took them getting a red card for them to realize, oh, wait, Celta Vigo could actually win here. We could actually drop points. It took something extremely negative happening to their team for them to decide that they could lose today's football match. And then they did lose today's football match, 2-0 in front of their fans, right? Let that sit in because there is no other explanation to start running after the red card. If you watch the game, if you're a Madrid fan and you watched it, if you're a Barca fan and you hate watching, y'all all seen it. None of those players wanted to run until the red card and they decide to start pressing. What does that tell you in your brain? It tells me that they thought that when they had 11 men, that Celta Vigo had no chance of tying or winning the game. That no matter how bad they played, that they thought they were going to win the game. And the moment that Celta Vigo goes up in advantage of a man, they decide, might be time to start playing. Might be time to start going crazy. And this, to me, y'all, is literally a mental thing going on with these players. And Florentino Perez thought that attacking this season with the moves he made, he brought in Dean at center back and he brought in Caretas. I'm not sure if he brought anybody else in this summer. And he thought just these 2 moves were going to be enough to stop a Barcelona team. A Barcelona team that's more hungry. A Barcelona team that has more passion. A Barcelona team that has more motion. A Barcelona team that has more momentum. A Barcelona team that has better players at the moment. Better players at the moment. A Barcelona team that is all around a better vibe than this Real Madrid football team. Everything about it. People want to joke. I joke all the time about how the stadium's not done yet. There's no roof on the stadium. I joke all the time about this, about that. The facts of this, Barcelona, everything about them, even with their stadium not being done, is better than Real Madrid right now, bro. Everything is better. The vibes are better. The momentum's better. Everything is better. They have football players on their team that want to show the world that they want to be on a Ballon d'Or stage. They have players on that football team that want to show the world that they can play football, that they deserve to be at Barcelona and they deserve to be on a Ballon d'Or stage, and they are trying to continue the Barcelona history. Real Madrid has players on the team that think that they deserve to be on the Ballon d'Or stage. Yeah. A team that thinks that they deserve to win a football match, deserve to win the Champions League, deserve to win La Liga. That's the difference between 2 football teams. One team is trying to prove to the world that they should be there. The other team thinks they deserve to be there. The other team is the most bipolar team I think I've ever seen in football. This team only plays football when they want 2 lads. We can say it a million times. And I said after the Atletico Bilbao win, everyone was hyped up. Real Madrid's back. Real Madrid's back. Xabi Alonso's Real Madrid is back. Real Madrid's not back, bro. I told y'all, don't get excited. Do not forget about the last 3-4 games when they dropped 5 points to Barcelona. Do not forget about the games that have just passed. I said it in my last video of Madrid. Do not forget about the games that just passed. Do not forget about what just took place. Do not forget about what this team did a couple weeks ago. Because beating Atletico Bilbao is not what you need to do. You need to beat the Celta Vigos. You need to beat the Deportivo La Coruñas of the world. They're not even in the first division. I don't even think they're in the first division. You need to beat these teams. These are teams that you need to beat to win competitions. These are the teams It's not about beating Barcelona. It's not about beating Atletico Madrid. It's not about beating Atletico Bilbao. It's about beating the teams that you're supposed to beat consistently. But you can't motivate yourself to beat them. Ancelotti did one thing right last year. All of us can see it's very hard for Vinicius Jr. and Mbappe to be consistent together. I don't know how you're going to get that duo to work, but you need to get that duo to work. Otherwise, Madrid's always going to suck. But there was something Ancelotti did last year, and he never played Goulet and Jude Bellingham together. And all the fans asked why. What's the problem? What's going on? Why won't he play the kids together? Why won't he put them in the midfield? They would be insane. Well, now we fast forward to Xabi Alonso doing it. Why? Because they got healthy, right? At first, there was one or the other, but now they got healthy. And once they got healthy, what happened? Think about it. What happened? Fell apart. Things started falling apart. Things really, really started falling apart. When this team was just Goulet, and I'm not saying Goulet is better than Jude Bellingham, I'm saying that when it was just Goulet, the team flowed better. The chemistry between Goulet and Mbappe was better, right? When it was just Jude Bellingham, the team flowed better. I think it's got to be one or the other. I'm not sure that both these guys can exist on the field at the same time together and play well together. It just doesn't feel like it's meshing. It doesn't feel like it's working. It doesn't feel like it's a vibe. It feels off. Something about that whole thing feels off. And y'all might call me crazy and dumb, but I just think since Bellingham has got healthy, since the way that Goulet has been lined up has changed, the team has changed. And Madrid has not been the same football team that we saw earlier in the year that got the 5 points gap between Barcelona. So I'm not blaming nobody. I'm not blaming Jude. I'm not blaming Goulet. I'm not blaming Xabi Alonso because this is bigger. It's a team problem. The defense sucks. And now I think you just lost Eder Militao to a hammy because this guy cannot stay healthy. This guy cannot stay healthy. And now you just have Rudiger and Asensio, and we all know how Asensio's looked lately. And then on top of that, you're at home in Madrid Stadium, which is so embarrassing in the first place, to lose 2-0 to Celta Vigo. But on top of that, this man, Courtois, is this man is getting dribbled up, and they're walking the ball into the back of the net at Real Madrid Stadium. They walking the ball in the back of the net in Real Madrid in the stadium. Buddy, I don't know what to say. And up next, you have Man City. Not only that, let this sit in. You were 5 points clear of Barcelona. You are 4 points behind Barcelona. Let this sit in. You were jumping up and down in a circle after you beat Barcelona. Y'all were all hugging each other, jumping around in a circle like this. Oh, celebrate. Oh, you're 4 points behind Barcelona. Nothing more needs to be said. Nothing more needs to be said. Nothing more needs to be done. Nothing more has to happen, bro. Y'all can sit there and talk about how Xabi Alonso should go, how this should go, how that should go. At what point are y'all going to realize Ancelotti's one of the greatest managers to ever do it? They thought they wanted to blame him. Now they want to blame Xabi Alonso. At what point are you going to realize that this team is not built correctly? The midfield is not good enough, the attack does not work together, and the back line's atrocious. At what point are we going to say, wait a minute, this might be a Florentino Perez and player issue? This might not be a coaching. This might not be tactics. This might not be manager. This might be bigger. This might be way bigger. This might be a player issue. You know, the one thing that I hate about Xabi Alonso, and I'll always stick to this, I will always stick to this, is he had a really good system. He had a really good system, guys. A really good system at Bayer Leverkusen. It was a 3-back, aka 5-back system that attacked really well and brought something different to football, because with anti-football, low block football, when you play that 3-back, it kind of gives an imbalanced look to teams, and you can and it kind of like completely messes up the vibes of back lines when they're like this. It puts more attackers forward sometimes, and it puts a lot of players back defensively. He had a really good system at Bayer Leverkusen. He almost went an entire season without losing a game. He won the Bundesliga, right, with Bayer Leverkusen, and he won't implement it at Madrid. And to me, this is the problem. And I know you have to adapt to the players you have, but at the same time, you need to stay true to who you are and true to what made you at times. And he got away from what made him. What made him get the Real Madrid job was a 3-back, aka a 5-back system at Bayer Leverkusen. And he came here and he just went Xabi Alonso 2.0. I mean, Ancelotti 2.0. He tried to just keep the Ancelotti stuff going, the Ancelotti vibes going. And I just don't think that was smart for Xabi Alonso. I just don't think it was smart. And I'm telling Real Madrid fans right now, if you get rid of Xabi Alonso, he's going to go somewhere, he's going to be successful. He is going to go somewhere, he's going to be successful. Because I want you to name a manager that is available right now that is better than Xabi Alonso, that's going to make Real Madrid better. And when you say Zidane, I want you to remember something. That Zidane has not shown you anything outside of Bale, Ronaldo, Benzema. Okay? And what he had in those players, he knew how to navigate egos, and he knew how to put a lot of the best players in the world at that time playing togetherness and playing as a unit. This Real Madrid team, I'm sorry, outside of a few players, do not have the best players in the world. Okay? They don't. You might want to say they do, but do not for 1 second think that someone on this team is equal to Luka Modric or Toni Kroos. Do not for a second think that they have a number 9 on this team that's equal to Benzema. All right? The only person that you can say is playing at a Ronaldo level is Mbappe because of how many goals he's scoring. All right? Don't compare anyone on this team to a Gareth Bale. Don't try it. You can go get numbers. Don't try it. So don't compare anyone on this back line to a Sergio Ramos. Go get numbers. You don't got it. Don't compare anybody on this line to a Marcelo. You don't got it. Don't do that. The only thing you have better than that team is Courtois, right? Courtois, go on then, lad, right? Because I think a lot of that time they had Navas for a little bit, and then they got Courtois, but they had Navas, right? So what I'm trying to say to you is it ain't the same. We don't know Zidane with having to have tactics and formations, and we haven't seen Zidane do that yet. We don't know what Zidane would look like with a weaker team. We don't know. We know Zidane to be a guy that can come in, few egos in place. Okay, we can sail the ship. I can get this ship going the right way. Because what is Gareth Bale going to say to me that I haven't achieved? What is Benzema going to say to Zidane that Zidane hasn't achieved in football? What is Ronaldo going to say? Even if Ronaldo's like, yo, I got mad bondos. Okay, cool. Zidane gonna say, what? Me too. I got one too. I've been here. I've done this in the World Cup. I've done this in the Champions League. I've done this here. I've done that already. He can say anything that Ronaldo can say, Zidane can say. You understand? So at the end of the day, all he can do is come in and deal with egos. But this team is bigger than just egos. This team does not have the personnel in place. And I know you guys want to be like, oh, but Camavinga and Chouamane and this and this and this and this. Okay, cool. They got young players that could be good players and great players, but they don't got the players. When you think about Real Madrid, Ozil was one of the best cams in football. Di Maria, one of the best wingers in football. Ronaldo, one of the best 9 wingers in football. Benzema, one of the best 9s in football. Bale, one of the best wingers in football. Marcelo, maybe the best left back to ever play. Sergio Ramos, one of the best center backs to ever play. You can't say this about this Real Madrid team. You think that Camavinga is going to go down and Camavinga and Chouamane is going to go down as Toni Kroos and Luka Modric? Come on, y'all. Barcelona is going to win La Liga. Real Madrid is going to have to try to win the Champions League. And let's be honest, the way it's looking, it ain't looking good. It's been your boy Skills. I hope you enjoyed it.